Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to What's the Damage, and today's video is going to be something that's going to be a little hard to talk about, it's something that I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, so this video is definitely not going to be news to you, but it's going to be my take on what actually happened, a way for me to structure the information, a way that can be a little more interesting for you guys, and it's something that went down back on April 20th of 1999. I'm pretty sure all of you know about the Columbine school massacre, or the Columbine school shooting, the Columbine high school massacre, whatever the hell you want to call it, okay? And this is something that it's going to be kind of like a two-part video because I'm going to be recording one directly after this that kind of builds up down what I'm going to say in this one here. And here's the thing, guys. Back then, there were two students named Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold who brought guns to school and they did kill a lot of people, but their original intention was to kill hundreds of people, They tried to really pull off a crazy massacre, and they actually killed a lot less than they, thought. Like, as morbid as it is to say, guys, I mean, at least they killed few people because their original intention was to kill over 100, So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what happened, trying to insert maybe photos and clips here, even if the video might be a little bit in bad taste, but not all of my videos are in good taste, I actually just want to bring information to you guys about what happened, and give my personal opinions about it, okay? So here's the thing, guys. They murdered 12 students and a teacher, and 10 students were killed in the school library where they also committed suicide after they killed everyone. And 21 more people were actually hurt by the gunshots, and gunfire was exchanged with the police. And then another 3 people were hurt while trying to escape, It was the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history at the time that it happened, And it has inspired a lot of other copycats, which is just, it makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me queasy just thinking about it, And it started at 11:19 a.m., when they entered the school. And it was actually because it's really sad to say, but some of the students thought that it was just a prank, so they didn't even react until it was too late, There were students who were shot and killed without even knowing what the hell even happened, It was just so random, It happened literally out of nowhere. Nobody expected what was actually gonna come. So unfortunately, they were killed, not because they were dumb, but they just couldn't really see it coming, There were students who were outside having lunch, just minding their own business, and they saw the boys coming, and then they shot them and killed them instantly. There was one boy who even survived, but he was shot like 8 times, inside of the actual hallways, people thought that they were just they were paintball guns, they were playing a prank or something, and it's really hard, man. And oh boy. So here's the thing: the weapons that they used included an Intratec Tech 9 Mini, a high point. I'm not gonna read this because this is just in poor taste, but here we go. The motive was actually a little inconclusive, There are some deep dives into what the reasons might have been, Maybe they were victims of bullying, or they just felt like outcasts, Even though one of them was actually a little popular around the school, I don't know. But the attack also involved a few homemade bombs. They were trying to bomb the kids too, and the teachers. 2 of them were in the cafeteria, which would be strong enough to kill a lot of people, or even like seriously injure them. And they failed to detonate, fortunately, and there were cars in the parking lots which were also made into bombs, so they were going to explode as well and hurt people around them. But they were apparently only going to be used as diversions, so oh boy. And here's the thing: they planned the massacre for around a year, and they were hoping that they were actually hoping that it would cause the most deaths in U.S. history, which would exceed the death toll of the Oklahoma City bombing, And the police they took a while to get into the school, and they were actually really criticized for not getting there sooner, and trying to actually help the people in there, And I don't know, man. It's really weird to I don't know what goes on through the police officers' heads. Okay, I don't know if they really are at fault here. But anyway, so okay, this and that, secure policies, blah blah blah. So there were debates that were sparked along, some of the issues in it, like they probably think that the boys felt like outcasts, or maybe there was a lot of bullying involved and teenage use of drugs like antidepressants, the internet, and also violence in video games and movies, So it's really hard to estimate what exactly happened, Now here's the thing. I'm going to get into this, the other deep dive now about something else that happened, and it's going to later on spawn the other video after this one that I'm going to be getting into something in more detail.
Robotic cameras later found the entire school was booby-trapped. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold had apparently committed suicide. But investigators say they spent their final moments rigging the building and their own bodies with more than 24 pipe bombs. Amid the gunshots and bomb blasts, hundreds of students ran for their lives, stalked in their own school by 2 of their own classmates who went on a rampage.
So here's the thing, both boys were fans of popular shooting games like Doom and Quake, you know, that were very popular at the time. And in 1996, one of them actually created sort of like this little website where he would create custom-made levels for the games, you know, Doom and Doom 2 that people could play, you know. And unfortunately, this already seeded the thought inside of him and his friend that shooting people, it would be cool, you know, as they said. And Dylan, I believe, or Eric, I think it was Dylan, the one who wasn't too popular. He felt like such a social outcast, you know, he was picked on in school, so he probably felt the need to act out in a way that wouldn't have been appropriate, you know, in society standards. And they were actually, they had some stints, you know, they broke into vans and stole things, you know, they committed a few petty crimes here and there, so they weren't exactly 2 very well-behaved kids, you know. The verdict is out on if their family dynamic at home was badly structured or not, you know. It was said that Dylan was actually pretty okay in the head. He even had a girlfriend at one point, you know, so everything was okay. But I don't know, maybe peer pressure got the best of him, you know, and they started to create these maps inside of the games, you know. And unfortunately, tragically, this inspired them to go out and buy real weapons and start practicing, you know. If you guys look online, you can actually find tapes of them actually practicing in the woods with their guns, you know. I do believe one of them was over 8, or maybe he had an ease to buy weapons. His father gave him a license. I don't know what exactly the story was there, okay. But they acquired weapons is the point, okay, and they used them to go outside, you know, in the forest where nobody would see or hear them, and they would shoot cans and stuff, you know. They would do target practice, you know, practicing for what would ultimately be the actual school shooting, which they decided to orchestrate in '99, and they were planning it out for about a year, you know. And when it actually happened, it was really sickening because they just shot indiscriminately without even thinking about it, you know. It's like they didn't even hesitate, you know. And there were students, like, if you guys look online, you can watch this video later on a channel called Top 5s where he did a much deeper dive into the topic than I'm doing here, you know, and where he shows a lot. Oh god, my phone fell, the timer. So here's the thing. So after that, you know, when they actually orchestrated it, there were students who were crying and begging. You guys can find videos of this on YouTube, man. It's really hard to watch and listen to because it's the students begging, crying out for them not to do it, and they still shoot them anyway, you know. And some of the students die instantly. There was one kid who was shot, but he survived. Even though he was paralyzed from the waist down, he rubbed his own blood on his face and laid there playing dead, you know, so they wouldn't do any more damage to him. And it was crazy, man. It was crazy. And one witness who survived even said that they heard one of the boys say, "This is what we always wanted to do. This is awesome," you know. I mean, what the hell, man? Like, imagine 2 friends bonding over killing people with guns, you know. These kids were sick, you know. These dudes were sick. Like, there wasn't one screw loose, man. I think every possible screw was loose in their heads, you know. And they unfortunately decided to act out in this manner, you know. And the thing that most haunts me is that after they carried it out, they killed themselves, you know. After killing students and teachers, you know, they didn't spare anyone. Sorry to lean back, it's because my back hurts a bit, and talking about this makes me a little queasy. So there was no remorse, you know. There was no remorse for what they did, you know. They went everywhere, the cafeteria, the library, nobody escaped, you know. And it was, I mean, they originally wanted to do this in the cafeteria during lunch, you know, so they would have killed hundreds of students, man. They would have killed hundreds of students, you know. So when I say that they only killed 12, you know, consider the full context of what I'm saying here, okay? And makes me sick to my stomach because I lived in the United States, man. I went to high school there, you know, and could have been me, you know. Could have been my school. Could have been me or my friends, you know, getting shot.
People were getting shot all around me. There was a guy at a table right next to me and her, and they just shot him and then walked away, and then he was just sitting there in a pool of blood.
Detectives now believe they entered the school through a back door and stormed down the hallways. They cornered students in the cafeteria and the library, where there was nowhere to run. Witnesses say they laughed as they fired their weapons, executing their classmates who begged for their lives.
I do believe that the most tragic part about this entire thing is that, I mean, there were some students who didn't die, you know, but they were injured. They did take some gunshots, you know, and some of them actually did escape, you know, unharmed. But try to imagine the trauma, you know, of these kids. Like, do you think they ever went to school again? Because after something like this, I would probably be so traumatized that I would be homeschooled for the rest of my life, even college, you know. I would just take online courses at college, you know. I would never step inside a school again in my life, you know. So imagine kids, man. Imagine the trauma that they went through, you know. There were a few that had to fake death, you know, so they wouldn't you know, be shot more and killed, you know, and some of them were paralyzed. They suffered long-standing injuries, you know. Others were too fatal, I think, but getting shot anywhere in the body is going to be fatal as hell, you know. And it's actually at around 11:22 or so, sometime later. No, I think I don't know, at some point, okay, I think it was 11:22. That's when the police finally responded, and the boys at this point were just, there was adrenaline pumping through their bodies. They weren't afraid of anything, so they exchanged gunshots even with the police, you know. I think at that point Dylan had fired like 47 shots and Eric only 5, you know, so it was crazy. I think Dylan probably killed more people than Eric, who was even more deranged than him, clearly, you know. So the police did respond, but unfortunately it was for naught, because they didn't even catch the boys. They didn't shoot at them, you know. They didn't do any damage. And at around 12, let me check my little cheat sheet here. I forgot exactly what happened. Okay, after the library massacre, at exactly... Okay, so at 12:08 p.m., that's when they went to the library and they decided to off themselves together, you know. I think they counted off like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they put the guns to their faces and shot themselves, you know, and they died instantly. Now, this was obviously premeditated, you know. I mean, maybe they thought, okay, we're going to do something like this, and we're probably not even going to get arrested. We're going to get killed, you know. They're going to kill us, you know. So let's just go ahead and do it ourselves, you know. These two assholes are obviously rotting in hell now, and they will for the rest of their existences. So it's really tough to think about. Like, if you're gonna take your own life, why not just do it? As insensitive as that is to say, if you think your life is so crappy, if you don't want to live anymore, and you get to the point where you feel like suicide is the only option, look, it's already sad, okay? And I really hope you would reconsider, but if you're gonna do it, if nothing can stop you, then just do it, man. Don't take other people down with you, you know? Don't take the lives of innocent kids for no reason other than you want to, okay? Go ahead and shoot yourself in the goddamn brain and just go to hell, okay? Do it, okay? Just do it, all right? But don't take other people's lives. Don't kill other people just so you can satisfy some crazy murder boner that you have inside of you that nobody can understand, okay? If you like playing games like Doom or Quake, just play them, man, you know? You don't have to act this out in real life. I play Doom. I like it, okay? I played it on my channel, dude. I like violent games, but it's not going to turn me into a murderous psychopath, you know? So that's what I can't wrap my head around, you know? It is the deadliest US shooting ever, you know? Even if there have been others in the future that have had a higher death toll, you know, this one was just the most fatal because it was so unexpected and the motive behind it was so unclear. Virginia Tech is the same thing, you know, some random crazy guy went inside the school and started shooting people. But in this case, I mean, the word Columbine already like instills fear in people, you know. It's traumatic, the word itself, you know. So I don't know, man. I don't know, okay? I don't know. My opinions on this are very, very, because I've gone to high school, you know, so like, it's not that I've heard, who keeps calling me, man, seriously. It's not like I've heard people in my school, you know, planning out shooting, but it does still hit hard, you know. It hits really close to home because my school had a few kids who were falling in with the wrong crowd, you know, doing some gang-related things, you know, so I don't know, any one of them could have brought a gun to school and shot somebody, you know, so it's an overlying danger that we all faced, you know, back in high school or middle school. I think it was more common in high school, though. So I don't know, man. You know, I'm sorry if I haven't been giving you too many details about it. You know, I'm giving you guys the information that I have on hand, you know, and going too detailed on this topic is going to be hard for me because it's something that affects me. I have looked at the tapes on YouTube. I have seen the footage of the kids being shot while they were screaming out bloody murder. So it hits really close to home for me, man, you know, so it's tough. Okay, it's really tough, you know. This is probably going to be a much shorter video than I expected, you know, so I think I'm actually going to end it here, okay? And it is really sad. There are many more details that I can go into here. I have an article here that I'm reading as I'm recording the video, but I think I'm just gonna end it here, you know. And then there was a survivor who recalled the events of the days. You guys can go watch on YouTube as well, you know. There's way too many things here, you know. There are too many details to read. I think I'm just gonna end it here, you know. And my heart goes out to everybody who had, like, all of the families, the victim. Can't even make my sentences come out right. The families of the victims, okay, who lost their children in such a random and terrible way, you know, such a heartless way to take someone's life. And I really hope that, you know, the family members have found peace. And I'm trying not to cry, man. This is the kind of thing that makes me cry. I'm trying not to. I really hope everybody was able to find solace in the comfort of the memories from their family members that were taken from them. And that's really all I can say. Columbine, man. What are you gonna do, huh? So yes, this is my opinion regarding the shooting itself, you know, and I think it was just such a heinous act, you know. There was no heart at all, you know. Those damn bastards could have bought their guns and just gone into the woods and shot themselves, or even each other. Well, they can't shoot each other, right? Just could have just shot themselves in the privacy of the woods, you know, just let their families grieve them. But in this way here, and you can't blame this on video games. It's going to be my next video, but I honestly think you can't blame this on video games because it just doesn't make any sense, okay? But I'm going to talk about that on the next one, and hopefully you're going to understand my opinion a little bit more regarding the matter, okay? But that's it for now, guys, okay? I'm just going to go before I actually do start crying here. This is Chazzy signing out. Oh, and also, if you like this video, okay, it's kind of hard to like it, but whatever you think about this video here, if you think it's the kind of information that I'm putting out here deserves a subscribe, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day, okay? And also go ahead and hit the notification bell while you're at it so you can get notified about my uploads, you know? And that's it, guys. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Roll the outro screen.
One by one, students returned to Columbine High and left bouquets of flowers in a park half a mile away.
A little bit of pain, a little bit of everything at once. And it's deep, you know, but it's got to be strong.
Parents, hug your kids. Pray that, be happy that you're with them. Kids, grab your friends, hold them tight, and never be mad at people because it could happen in a second that they'll be gone.